With Season of the Seraph bringing changes and updates to the Stasis subclass, I wanted to go back and do an upgraded double Stasis grenade build for the Warlock. So we're going to be focusing on the Bleak Watcher and the Coldsnap grenade. So I'm going to give you guys two builds here for this video. The exotic we'll be focusing on this time is the Osmiomancy gloves. Again, these came with Witch Queen, its perk, Fervored Coldsnap. Your Coldsnap grenades have an additional charge that recharges quicker on direct impact, and the Seeker spawned from the Coldsnap grenades can travel farther. Next, let's go over what I'm using for build number 1, subclass-wise. So again, super-wise, we only have the one super. I'm going with Healing Rift here. Movement ability, doesn't really matter. Choose which one you like. We only have the one melee, which again is just the staff blast. Pretty much you raise your stasis staff against a foe, sends a blast of stasis forward to freeze your target. So again, it'll freeze the target, which will kind of end up helping us here. Now, like I said, grenade-wise, we're going to be going with Coldsnap, since this is the grenade that benefits from the exotic perk from Osmiomancy Gauntlets. Again, it's a grenade that freezes on impact and sends another Seeker to find and freeze targets. Aspect-wise, we're going with Ice Flare Bolts. Again, shattering a frozen target spawns Seekers that track and freeze other nearby targets. So again, it's kind of like a mini Coldsnap that comes off it once you break the target, so just keep that in mind. And then Bleak Watcher. Again, press and hold your grenade button to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slowing projectiles at nearby targets. So again, you charge it up, you just place it, which is really nice. Really easy. If you can set it up right, you can freeze a bunch of targets. So fragment-wise, first up, I'm going with Whisper of Fissures. Increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a stasis crystal or defeat a frozen target, so it has more of that psh factor, right? Next, Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. Next, Whisper of Change. While you are near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Again, that is a +10 to your recuv. Again, the main thing here is that you're getting even more damage resistance from all those frozen targets. Next up is Whisper of Durance. Slow from your abilities lasts longer. For those abilities that linger, their duration will also increase. You get +10 to strength. So this allows our Bleak Watcher to actually last +5 more seconds. So it'll go from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Next, I'm going to go over the armor mods that I'm using for build number 1 here. Now, I would highly recommend matching the elemental type for each of the armor pieces that I'm going to be talking about, because there are a lot of things that synergize here. So first up on the helmet, again, I am going with Swift Charge because I'm using a pulse rifle for this build in particular, so I'm becoming Charge of Light by rapidly defeating combatants with pulse rifles, sidearms, or submachine guns. Now, if you are not going to use one of those 3 weapons, there are multiple other ways to become Charged with Light. So you could do Taking Charge. You know, you become Charged Light by picking up an Orb of Power, but again, that means you have to have Harmonic Siphon or whatever elemental siphon on your helmet. And personally, I don't want to have to go out of my way to pick up an orb just to become Charged with Light. I just want to kill some ads. Next, we have Quick Charge. Again, it's by rapidly defeating combatants with a fusion rifle or a shotgun. We have Precisely Charge, which is sniper rifles and linears. I would not recommend this one. Blast Radius, which is grenade launchers and rocket launchers. Again, maybe, but again, I would try to stick with the primary weapons. Again, like I said, Swift Charge. Sustained Charge, which is auto rifles, trace rifles, or machine guns. And then lastly here, I believe, yes, Precise Charge, which is precision. So keep this in mind, precision kills from bows, hand cannons, and scouts. So they have to be precision. Again, I would not recommend this one either, but since I'm using a pulse rifle, like I said, I'm going to use Swift Charge on my helmet. For the gauntlets, I'd recommend making them void. Reason being is we can put on stacks on stacks. Gain an extra stack of Charge of Light for every stack you gain. So whenever you get 1 stack of Charge of Light, you're automatically going to get ×2. So once Swift Charge kicks in from the pulse rifle, instead of being Charge of Light ×1, it's going to become ×2. Next, I'm rocking Double Bolstering Detonation. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. So it's just damage, so the Bleak Watcher is considered damage, even though it is very minimal. It's meant to slow and freeze targets, but you still can get that class ability energy back very quickly. For the chest, boots, and the class item, I am rocking Firepower. I'm rocking 3 because they do stack. So while you're Charged with Light, you regain a portion of your grenade when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of Charge of Light, and the mod's effects stack with other copies of this mod, which makes it very good. Now, on the boots, I do also have Double Innervation, which reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an Orb of Power. And then on my class item, I am rocking Double Bomber, which reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. There really aren't any mods to substitute here, but like I did mention, whatever weapon you're going to use for your Charge of Light, or if you want to do Taking Charge or any other Charge of Light option for this in particular, again, make sure that it matches whatever weapon you're going to be using. So I did want to talk about the stats to focus on. Again, We want resilience. We talk about this every video. Rock 100 resilience. You're going to get 40% damage reduction in PvE. That is going to be massive. And then second up, focus on discipline. Again, this is going to be your grenade ability. Again, I only have 88 right here. This is just for build purposes here. But again, if it was 100, you obviously want double 100 with resilience and discipline. And weapon option wise, again, as long as it matches whatever charge of light thing you're going to be doing, that can help. But I will mention, if you have a weapon that can come with Demolitionist, I would highly, highly, highly recommend using it. So kills the weapon, generate grenade energy, activating your grenade ability, reloads the weapon from reserves. So again, being able to have that grenade energy back even faster is great. I'd also look into Deliverance. Now this is a Vow to Disciple weapon. This is the fusion rifle. It is stasis. It is in the first slot. So it can come with chill clip. So direct hits with the top half of the magazine cause a detonation that slows nearby targets. Again, that can always help in general, but its second perk option that it can come with is Demolitionist. So if you can get, 5 of these from Vow to Disciple and then craft one to get it leveled up to where you can get Demolitionist and Chill Clip, that is going to be the juicer roll that's going to make this build even better. If you're not catching the synergy for build number 1, let me run through it. So we're going to get Charge of Light from Swift Charge, or whatever charger you're using. That's going to give us time to Charge of Light because of stacks on stacks. Whenever we go to charge up that Bleak Watcher and throw it, Firepower times 3 is going to kick in, which is going to take away 1 stack of Charge of Light. So that'll give us a big chunk of our grenade energy back. Any orbs that you pick up off the ground will kick in Double Innervation, which will give you more grenade energy. Whenever you use your class ability, Double Bomber is going to kick in, which is going to allow you to get that grenade back even faster. And just note, with Whisper of Refraction, defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy, which means you'll be able to have that healing rift back very, very often, which means you can use it again to get your grenade back. Oh, you're freezing and slowing targets. Oh, you have your healing rift again. Oh, use that. Now you have your grenade back even faster. Anytime you defeat one of those frozen targets, Ice Flare bolts will kick in, which will pretty much cause that Seeker on the ground, and that'll freeze another target that you can drop on the ground. Any frozen targets you're near, you will gain that damage resistance from Whisper of Change. Your Bleak Watchers will last longer because of Whisper of Endurance, and every time you kill them, while they're frozen, Whisper of Fissures will kick in as well, so that will do more of that AoE damage. And whatever weapons you're using that have Demolitionist on them, again, that'll allow you to get that grenade back even faster. So pretty much you can just be spamming the Bleak Watcher grenade constantly, which we all know is really good for champions, especially if you can't stun them back to back, especially in higher end activity. So being able to freeze those targets is really good. Now, just as a side note, if you have a weapon that comes with Headstone, and if you don't know what Headstone is, Precision Final Blow spawn a Stasis Crystal at the victim's location. So again, it has to be a headshot. It'll spawn that Stasis Crystal. That can be pretty good because it can freeze other targets around it and cause a little bit of AoE damage whenever you break it. But there is also a fragment called Whisper of Shards. Shattering a Stasis Crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. Shattering additional Stasis Crystals increases the duration of this benefit, which is really, really good. Plus, you get plus 10 to resilience. So again, you could change your mods around or whatever, but it is good to have that extra resilience in there as well. So if you do have a weapon with Headstone, again, I would just switch out Whisper of Fissures for Whisper of Shards to allow you to do that, and that will allow for an even faster cooldown of that grenade. Let's go over what I'm using in the subclass for build number 2 now. So super-wise, again, we only have the one super. I'm using Healing Rift here. You can use Empowering if you would like. Movement-wise, use whatever you want. We have the one melee, and we're going to be using Coldsnap Grenade, so we get the benefit from the gloves. So aspect-wise, I am using Ice Flare bolts again, but instead of Bleak Watcher, I'm using Glacial Harvest. Freezing targets creates stasis shards around the frozen targets, and the higher tier combatants create more shards. Then fragment-wise, I'm rocking Whisper of Change. While you are near frozen targets or a friendly Stasis Crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. And then Whisper of Refraction. Defeating slowed or frozen targets grants you class ability energy. The last two I did change out, so I'm going with Whisper of Rhyme. Again, collecting that Stasis Shard grants a small amount of Overshield, which falls off after 10 seconds, and collecting additional shards adds to the Overshield and refreshes the timer. Lastly, Whisper of Conduction. Nearby Stasis Shards track to your position, which gives you a plus 10 to Resilience and Intellect. Going over the armor mods, most of the stuff is pretty much the same across the board. When it comes to our chest armor, our leg armor, and the class item, we're going to be rocking triple firepower again, with Bomber on the class item and Innervation on the boots. Now, the things I did change was the helmet. I changed that to Stasis so I could rock Elemental Shards. Stasis Shards count as a Stasis Elemental Well for you, which is going to allow us to proc Elemental Charge on our gauntlets here. Again, you become Charged with Light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well elemental type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of Charged with Light. And since these shards count as Stasis Wells, and we're on a Stasis subclass, we're going to get automatic ×2 Charged with Light whenever we run over a Stasis Shard. And again, on my Gauntlets here, I'm still rocking Bolstering Detonation. When it comes to mods, I really wouldn't substitute in anything. I think this is like the perfect mods for this build in particular. And then stats wise, again, go with 100 resilience and 100 discipline. Definitely try to max those out. And then weapon wise, honestly, it doesn't matter for this one. If you did still want to rock weapons that come with Demolitionist or get a Deliverance with Chill Clip and Demo, again, I'd highly recommend looking into that. But weapon wise, for this one in particular, it doesn't really matter. If you're not catching the synergy for build number 2, essentially when we go to throw that Coldsnap grenade and freeze a target, that is going to create that Stasis Shard. And again, that'll kick in Elemental Shards whenever we pick it up, making it a Stasis Well, which is going to give it Charge of Light ×2 from Elemental Charge. So whenever we throw that next grenade, we're going to have Firepower ×3 kick in. That's only going to take away 1 Charge of Light. So we're going to get a good boost to our grenade energy back there. Whenever we pick up orbs, Double Innervation is going to kick in. Whenever we use our class ability, Double Bomber is going to kick in, allowing us to have an even faster cooldown for that grenade. And then whenever we pick up any of those shards, they're going to track to us and give us an overshield that'll last 10 seconds. Again, anytime we freeze those targets, we're going to get class ability energy again. And whenever we're near those frozen targets, we're going to get even more damage resistance, which is just nasty. Now, the really cool thing with this is that the Coldsnap grenade versus the Bleak Watcher actually benefits from the recharges faster on impact part of the Osmiomancy glove. So every time that Coldsnap changes to another target, again, that's going to give us an even bigger cooldown for that grenade. So you can essentially just keep throwing those stasis grenades over and over and over again as long as there are targets for it to track to. Personally, I like build number 2 over build number 1, but again, both of them have their uses. Bleak Watcher, again, allowing that thing to last 30 seconds, having a really fast cooldown on it, allowing you to spawn multiple Bleak Watchers to take care of multiple adds, especially in high tier activities where if you need to, re-stun a champion, again, so it doesn't get its health back, that's really helpful, especially in higher tier activities. But the Coldsnap grenade allows you to have really fast grenade cooldown and take out a bunch of adds and have damage resistance and overshield at the same time. Both are used for different things, but again, I think both are very useful and I would say almost niche for specific activities. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my updated Stasis Grenade build. I hope you liked it. If you have your own build or any changes, again, put those in the comments. I definitely enjoy testing stuff out when it comes to the builds here. But if you like what you saw, again, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn the bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another one of these build videos. If you didn't know, we stream live on YouTube here 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday evenings again. We're mostly playing Destiny 2. We're going to be carrying people through Spire the Watcher and probably doing some DSC runs whenever that's around so people can farm some red borders and whatnot. But again, the season will slow down, so we will be playing other games. But if you did want to carry in the Spire of the Watcher dungeon, again, we will be doing those. If you want to be proactive, join my Discord. That's where we're going to be chatting. People are talking about Destiny 2 and a multitude of other topics as well, such as PC tech and anime. Lastly, if you didn't know, we hit YouTube Partner on the channel here a few months ago, which is just freaking awesome. That's given us a bunch of benefits here on the channel. One of those things being memberships. If you don't know what a membership is, essentially it is like a Twitch subscription. It'll give you access to exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other exclusive things here on the channel. If you want more info, all you have to do is press the join button next to subscribe, and that'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. In any event, guys, hope you enjoy the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!